Ladies and gentlemen, once again, back from the depths of non-podcast land, it's the Collective Mindset Podcast, and I am Jordan. This is my dear friend and partner, Gavin Guthrie, and we are excited to be back on camera in front of some bright lights and to talk to you guys about kind of the state of affairs. Here it is, July. I'm ahead of myself.
Just about.
June 2024. Talk about the mortgage and real estate market. What things look like. Gavin, what is the story?
Oh, just the sky's falling, bro.
Sky's falling?
Yeah, no. I mean, we were just talking about Homebuyer Sentiment Index or something along those lines. It's Fannie Mae's index of homebuyer sentiment. It has reached, I guess it's an all-time low, but the survey's only been in effect for 14 years, but this is the lowest score it's had in those 14 years.
I believe it. I've been lending for 24 years, and I mean, outside of I would think homebuyer sentiment in 2008, 9, 10 was worse.
So this started in 2010.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it skipped 2008 and 9. So, but even in 2010, it's not like things were hustling and bustling. So, really, the sky's falling. No. It's not all bad news, guys. There's actually a lot of good things that are coming out of this. We've harped on this in a lot of our previous episodes. Inventory has really been a problem, and I think
Huge problem.
the reduction in activity and then also probably a little bit of proper expectations with sellers has brought a lot more homes to market, I think, recently. I think in my neighborhood, at least, I've seen definitely more homes on the market than in the past. So hopefully inventory continues to go up, helping people find more options and better suited homes for them and maybe less competition and other things. So there's other lots of great things happening in the mortgage world that are making it better for buyers. When volume goes down like this, lenders have to do better. And I think we're starting to see that in pricing, in product options, in overall service levels. Like, there's a lot of good things that are happening that the consumer is benefiting from. So I know you had written down a few of them there, some unique products that are going to help some people buy homes.
Yeah, I think in this time, Gavin is right here. Like, the lenders have to get creative. 2023 and this 2024, the big thing was like utilizing a buy down, a rate buy down, 1.0, 2.0 buy down. You probably heard these terms where, let's say the rate's 7%. For the first year, it could be 5%. Then the next year, it'd be 6% before it goes to 7%. The idea behind that is by the time the rate gets back to 7%, the rates have fallen, or you're refinancing at, say, 5.75%. So we're still holding out hope for that. As we sit today, I'd say conventional rates are just right below 7% probably. But there's a lot of unique things, as lenders are competing for business. We have lenders that are offering us free 15-day extensions. So if there's any issue with during the home buying process, you can extend for free. You got a bunch of new kind of grant programs that are rolling out for people. Really cool loan programs like a cross collateral loan, which allow you to buy your new home before you sell your existing home. You're qualifying based on what the future payment's going to be. I mean, just some really cool, unique products that are helping people who maybe have a home to sell and they're sitting on a bunch of equity.
Yeah.
But it's not sold yet, but they want to make sure they buy the home that they want to move into.
Wait, it's hard. In a normal market, that's hard to do. To sell a home, buy the next one, get the sellers of the house you want to agree to a contingency, or try and perfectly line up the buyers, getting a buyer to come buy your house at the perfect time, find the right house and go under contract on that one at the right time. Like,
when the market's slower, it's definitely harder to do. When the market's fast, piece of cake, and everybody got used to doing contingency sales. But right now, where things are a little bit grinding because there's just not as much inventory out there, it's just not as common.
And I think that people are only moving right now for the right reason, right? Like, the perfect scenario has to show up. So you've got pickier buyers, and for people to want to sell, they're going to be a buyer in order to want to sell. So it's like they're picky, you know what I mean? So there's just a lot of obstacles in the way of that, and this cross collateral loan is awesome. Like, it's probably one of the first loan products I've been initially enticed by and not found a letdown yet.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like over my whole career, there's always some great new product that's coming out. People tell you it's this, it does that. And then by the time you get down into the nitty gritty, like there's some overlay or some guideline that ruins it, or there's like the pricing, the rates are just so out of whack, it doesn't make sense for anyone.
Yeah.
Whereas this one kind of, there's a little cost to it, but it kind of checks all the boxes.
Yeah,
and there's not any like major obstacles to where I wouldn't do it, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of how I judge what I would do for my clients. It's like, would I do this?
Yeah.
And if I can say yes, then I would advise my clients that way. Whereas,
Well, and the cool reason, like people are like, well, why would I want to do that, right? And it's like, well, think about it. You can now move on your terms. You get to move all your stuff out of your house. Maybe you want to repaint the new house or whatever. So now you have this time, and then you can stage your old house once all your junk's out of there.
Yeah.
Make it look nice, and there's a lot of pros to it. It's a cool product. So a lot of stuff is changing. And the other thing too is more sellers, like I'm not seeing a big crash or decrease in price, but more sellers are way more willing. They're like become a reality check.
Yeah.
They're willing to offer incentives, seller concessions, so to speak, to help things happen. So you can do buy downs, or you can get your closing costs covered. So it goes back to the old thing we keep talking about. You marry the house, you date the rate. These rates won't be this high forever. Believe me, there is a tremendous amount of political pressure coming, and the economic data is finally falling in favor of this idea of lower rates.
Yeah.
Obviously, there could be some crazy black swanny event that stops it all, but it really feels like the trend is lower. The inflation data, all that stuff's coming down. Unfortunately, jobless claims is going up. People are losing jobs, and I mean, speaking of jobs, like I don't want to get political here. Yeah, I do actually.
Let's get
They
political.
literally just announced, I think it was yesterday, they revised down last year's jobs number by 770,000.
Did you send me that?
Yeah.
Is that where I saw it? Yeah, you sent me that.
It's like, and it's so funny because I listen to a lot of stuff, guys, but like all the serious economists out there, not the market guys, but the serious economists that actually look at all the numbers, they're like, this is so ridiculous.
Well, it
Like,
even goes beyond
when did the
that.
jobs numbers become a political tool that you can manipulate? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to I don't want to completely go into it and say that it's like a Joe Biden conspiracy here to manipulate the economy or
Trying to
manipulate
make it
the
look
system.
like the market's great.
Right? Like, and maybe they want that narrative, but I feel like they would say whatever they want regardless of what happens. It feels like they're pretty delusional about reality anyway.
Yeah.
So it just, I'm not going to say it's all that, but there definitely are. It's extremely manipulated. They are counting second jobs, third jobs as new jobs created, newly employed people, right? And they're factoring that into the unemployment numbers somehow. They have come up with all sorts of rules around who is actually unemployed and who is not that favors that number. They've completely revamped that number. If you were to do the calculation on unemployment and the unemployment rate 30 years ago compared to today, it's an absolutely it's a totally different measuring tool. And so it just can't be trusted. You have to take it with a grain of salt. You can't revise down the jobs numbers from the year before by 700. That's three months worth of job creation.
Yeah.
So 1/4 of last year wasn't real, guys.
Yeah. That's good.
And they're doing the same thing this year.
Well, and it's all part-time jobs. If you
Yeah.
stripped out part-time jobs and government jobs, there's literally no new jobs being created.
Correct.
So the reason why we harp on this, we're bringing this up, is because that's one of the Fed's key mandates, right? Is to get a handle of inflation and a stable job market.
Yeah.
And their idea of a stable job market is under 4% unemployment, and right now we're at 4.1, so we're technically over. And then they want inflation to be at a 2%, or at least trending towards it. And right now we're 2.8, 2.7, trending in the right direction. So that's why we're getting, I wouldn't say we're exuberant by any means, but we feel like that the opportunity for lower rates is just around the corner. Most people are anticipating a Fed rate cut come September. But if the bond market sniffs that out and the market feels that way, the 10-year Treasury will start to drop, mortgage-backed securities will improve in price, and we will see lower rates as we kind of
Well,
move through the summer here.
We'll get those lower rates long before September,
Yes.
long before the Fed actually cuts those rates, right? Like, if the market believes that's happening, we'll see that on our rate sheet before we ever get there. So that's the good news. The part I was kind of getting at, and where I'm saying like maybe it isn't all political, is just like we have been like on this teeter-totter balancing act, right? Of just trying to not have a collapse happen in the economy while also bringing down inflation, while also keeping people in their jobs, in their homes. I think it's a to give the Fed chairman some credit here, like it's a pretty tough job he's got there. Now, did he create it himself?
Created
Probably.
He's trying to clean up he's trying to clean up the own mess that they created.
Yeah.
Which they created the mess trying to make Biden look good his first year in office. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Call it what it is.
But
Because you
like,
don't just freaking keep rates at zero for no reason whatsoever.
we all were thinking that back then too. So, I think we're past all the pain. I think 6, 8, 9 months ago, Jordan, we were probably talking about like the pivot coming in, right? I think we did an episode about the pivot.
We did. We called the pivot, and it did pivot for a while.
minute.
We were right.
It was a double pivot. We didn't know.
There was a
But
retrace.
I think we're probably approaching that here pretty soon, where and maybe it's not a strong rejection where we're coming down 1% or 1.5% or 2%. Like, we'd all love to get back down to 5%, 4.75. Like, that would be great for our business. That would be great for people buying homes, saving money. Do I think that that's likely to happen soon? Not without some precipitating, event. Like, that would be a painful moment in the rest of the economy for that to happen.
Yeah.
But I do think that we can start seeing lower rates. People who bought and had rates in the 7s, it's going to be time to refinance really soon. And maybe even twice over the next 24 months.
Yeah.
So
I think so.
people will get to save some money. It's going to make more sense. Home affordability is going to get better. That's a really hard one sometimes, where it's like you're seeing people buy these what feel like starter homes for them, and they've got a pretty tough payment, a really tall DTI, and it just is like, man, I hope like they're having to really buckle down to buy that home. And I still would advocate for that. Buy a home. I still think that's going to be your key to wealth preservation and growing a stable family life. Like, I still think it's one of the best tools we have.
Well, that's why I think I get back to, as soon as rates start dropping, home prices start ticking back up again.
Yeah.
It's just supply and demand. There's still not enough homes, and builders have slowed down their building, because of rates and purchasing.
And their margins are lower. Like, they can't afford to extend themselves this far because they're buying this land on borrowed money. They're having to put out all the money to develop the land and get it ready to start going vertical on these homes.
Well, their cost to develop. I mean, I was listening to one of the major national home builders, and they were talking about the cost on development loans. They were single digits for so many years. He said right now they're 13, 14% on these types of loans.
Yeah.
And so it's obviously that's curbing their ability to build the homes. And so it feels like we're going to have a repeat of 2016, 17, 18, where the inventory wasn't there because the home builders were a little scared to just go turn the floodgates on and go full speed ahead.
Yeah. I think, though, when a true definitive pivot happens, I think you'll see some builders who are ready to go. Like, they'll turn it on quick. There's a lot of pent-up demand, and I think they'll move quickly, but I think right now they're very slow. They're probably breaking down what used to be 1, 2, 3-phase communities. They're probably turning them into 6-phase communities now, trying to mitigate the cost and the risk. And I think that will change as we, as rates come down. But it's definitely going to be a challenge. It's going to be a balancing act. And the good news is more people are bringing resale homes onto market. Inventory is creeping up. That's going to be good for home buyers. So
resale's the way to go, especially if you want to have a pool.
Yeah.
You buy a new build and then you put in the pool. Prepare yourself for sticker shock.
It hurts.
I mean, I don't think you can build a pool nowadays for under $100,000. I don't think. It's just insane, man.
I mean,
I've talked to a few people recently, and I'm just like blown away.
Yeah,
So-
if you're trying to do the full thing, right? Like a pool and travertine and grass and rocks and trees and bushes, like you're gonna be over $100,000.
Yeah, like a normal backyard. You
Yeah.
can't just have a hole in the ground.
I mean, some people just put holes in the ground.
I heard ridiculous stuff. Friends of mine that are building, in a nicer part of Gilbert, and they got a quote just to do, and I don't even think they're not even full. I mean, they're like a half-acre lot, and to do the landscaping of their lot, it was $650,000. And they're just like, wait, what?
How did that happen?
Yeah, insanity. So
you should get a second bid.
Yeah,
whoever you
or
are.
third, or hire us. By the way, this episode is sponsored by the Collective Home Company, and soon we're going to tell you all about it. That day's not today, but this episode is sponsored by the Collective Home Company. You can Google it. It's on the internet.
It's on the internet. You'll find it there.
And if you're still watching at this point, I don't know how long we've been rambling here, Gavin.
16 minutes.
16 minutes. Hey, congratulations for making the 16-minute mark. If you make a comment below that says, I made it to the 16-minute mark, I will send you a sticker in the mail. Probably.
I'll send you a hat.
Gavin will send you a hat. You can't charge that to the company.
Yeah.
You guys want to talk? I want to talk about something 4 months ago. We like to get in the weeds a little bit about the cryptos and the Bitcoins.
Oh, yeah.
And I told you guys not financial advice, because, this is not financial advice, but, I talked about how intriguing Bitcoin was and the Bitcoin ETF, and there was just a little bit of, scary yet excited sentiment because Bitcoin shot up, and then it pulled way back down over 20%, and people were like, oh, this is a fad or whatever, and I was like, hey, just zoom out, look at the long run, and we're doing that right now, which is hilarious, because Bitcoin went all the way up to 74,000. And then we've been doing this sideways chop dance for the last, 2-3 months. Long time. And we're sitting here at $65,000 today. People are like, oh, Bitcoin's dead. See, it sucks.
Right.
It's like, man, if you would have bought, I don't even know when that was February probably when we did that podcast.
Yeah.
So you bought in February in the podcast when it was at 50,000, 51,000, and you're at 65,000. It's a pretty awesome investment.
Well, just think even in the past though, after the 2017 run up, right? It dipped down to $3-4 grand in between there, 2018, maybe 2019. I don't know exactly when it popped off that floor.
When the COVID crazy crash happened and everybody freaked out and the stock market crashed. The COVID crash actually happened. Crypto crashed first. Bitcoin crashed first before the stock market did.
Did it hit? Is that when it went down to 3-4 grand?
It hit under 4 grand. It was 3,000 something, and then it shot from there. 3 grand went all the way to 64,000.
Yeah, So I guess my point there is right. If 60 grand or 64 grand or 62 grand is the new 39.50, watch out. Watch out, kids.
Boing.
Yeah. Us mortgage guys, we try to get into crypto so that we can, catch a runner and retire.
I have never called when I think this cycle top's going to be. I have no idea. Yeah. I don't know. I feel pretty confident that we're going to hit 6 figures, though.
That'll happen.
It might not be until 2025 at the end of the year, but...
Well,
I feel like this next move up, though, as soon as we get this next springboard move, because that's typically what happens, I think that springboard move moves it. I think it hits 84 to 88,000.
Real quick.
And then there's going to be another pullback, and it's going to come back and test this support that's being built here between 70 and 65. And then from there, I bet it breaks the hundo.
The real question is, how does anything survive the election?
Guys,
we're going everywhere. We're going mortgages, cryptocurrencies, Joe Biden,
dude, the election,
aliens.
You want to get into aliens? Yeah. No. This is going to get nuts. I mean, what are we? We're in June. Do you realize there's a debate next week? Yeah. And then there's the Republican National Convention, the Democratic one coming after that. Trump possibly going to jail, which is our country is a joke. We literally turned into Nicaragua, or Venezuela overnight. Not overnight, the last few years, and it's just insanity. But I don't think the Democratic side lets go of this little power they've got, without some shenanigans. They were completely caught off guard when Trump won 2016 and stole it from Hillary Clinton. I mean the term stole in the non-legal term. But they didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
And I think they see what's coming because there's a massive red wave. So how do they stop it? How do they stop it, Gavin?
I just want people to start using their brains. Is that too much?
Apparently, if you use your brain, though, you're not being nice enough to all of the insane people in the world.
I'll be nice.
I mean, I'll be nice too. I will be
nice.
respectful.
I'll send you a hat if you've made it this far in the video.
You guys, pray for our country. Seriously. And the leaders, and pray that the secret combinations fail and goodness and righteousness can prevail. And love and kindness. Like let's love and be kind to our neighbors and friends and real estate agents, mortgages, our title officers. Let's be really kind to them. But man, there's some shenanigans in our world, and everybody's trying to create this crazy division because our politicians have gone insane.
Yeah.
All of them. Except
That
for guys
part-
like
that
Thomas
part-
Massey. I think he's a stupid.
It's just a system. It's a system of insanity, and it's a system of greed,
Circus.
and it's basically those who take power abuse it, and people like us who are just trying to live our lives and raise families, like we kind of have to bear the brunt of that. And so, like you said, pray for good people, pray for good decisions, be kind to those around you. That's usually what is going to matter, right? And I do think we probably are going to experience some turmoil over the next 6 months, but buckle up for it. It'll be all right. We'll get through it. I still think buying a home is the right thing to do. We are mortgage guys. We started the Collective Home Co. That's going to be a home service company that you'll have a chance to work with. We're excited. We've got good things going on. Anything else you want to add, Jordan?
Just keep freedom free. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Watch the horizon
Oh yeah.
for aliens.
Eyes on the sky. Watch water. What? Pray what?
Watch for aliens.
Oh yeah. Aliens coming. That's gonna be crazy.
Watch the horizon.
So you guys are awesome. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Thanks, y'all. Peace.